Hello, everyone. X Walk Hill Bethel Light here. And you have more to gain by leaving Jehovah's Witnesses than by staying. And I know it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like you have anything to gain by leaving. It feels like you're losing out on something. It's almost like you're in a game show where whoever stays the longest wins. Because I hear people saying, "Hey, I'll never leave Watchtower." They'll say something like, "I'll never leave the truth," or what have you. Even though people are finding out it's not the truth and they leave, this person who's still staying feels like they're gaining something by being the only one left in the hall. You're not gaining anything by being the last person still at the hall, by being the last person to figure out this is not the truth. That doesn't get you anything. It doesn't get you anywhere. Figuring out, being the last person to figure out that this is the truth. Everybody else in your family's left. Your friends have left the cult of Jehovah's Witness, but you want to be the last one still there. You don't gain anything, whereas you gain a lot by leaving. And if you think about it, think about the hall that you grew up in, and a lot of the people that you grew up around. Well, for me, that hall has been sold multiple times over again. The hall that I grew up in was sold to a Seventh-day Adventist church. So it's not even like a lot of us have the sentimental value of just wanting to be in the same religious facility that we grew up in as kids. Some of you guys might have that, but a lot of us, since they've been selling Kingdom Halls, making that money left and right, you don't even have that. You don't have the physical building to even feel like, hey, I want to stay here for sentimental value reasons. I just like, this is the Kingdom Hall I grew up in. I went back to go visit the old hall that I grew up in, and everything was the same for the most part, except for it was a Seventh-day Adventist church. They almost didn't believe me when I told them, hey, I grew up here. All these church members like, I don't remember you. I grew up in this building here. This got sentimental value, but a lot of you don't have the sentimental value even to remain for that reason, because Watchtower has sold the Kingdom Hall off from under you. Some of you aren't even getting appointed, believe it or not. Like some of you, Watchtower sometimes acts like, they'll let you carry microphones all over the place. They'll let you knock on doors all day and night, but they're not going to make you an elder. Some of you aren't even getting appointed, even though you're doing everything that Watchtower is telling you to do. But then some of the people who are getting appointed done divorced freaking 3 women. You know what I mean? Some of the people that are getting appointed are obviously getting appointed because of favoritism. Some of these people are complete failures as far as their family is concerned. There's no real reason. You don't gain anything. You don't lose anything by leaving. A lot of these people aren't going to remember you anyway. You could stay and then something can happen. You get sick and these people turn on you anyway. You're not out in service as much. They don't see you at the hall as much. They're not going to come visit you. They'll turn on you anyway. There's so many things that could happen that it's not worth the gamble remaining in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a cult. God doesn't even approve of it. It's not like you gain favor from Jehovah because you stayed in a false cult. It's obviously false just by the pure definition of somebody making up false predictions, of 1975 or the generation of 1914. Just false teachings in general that they have. It's false. There's no way God made everybody wait 2,000 years to create Watchtower to come up with false teachings. It doesn't even make any sense. You got more to gain by leaving than you have by staying. A lot of you will gain a lot more friends leaving. Once people find out, hey, so and so left, they're not in that cult anymore. Oh man, give me their number. I gotta call them. There's so many things I gotta tell them. So many things I couldn't tell them before because they were in that cult. A lot of you, by leaving the cult, a lot of the friends that you had growing up, a lot of them can contact you now. A lot of them can talk to you freely now and talk to you about things they couldn't talk to you about before. Now you can have a real friendship, not a friendship that is just dependent on how much a person went out in field service or dependent on if a person commented at the meeting. Now you can have a real friendship, real friendships, plural. How about your dating life? A lot of you have been dating cult members, people who are pretty low on the totem pole as far as desirability. You're dating people who aren't that desirable because you're supposed to date somebody from that cult and they're in it. You're supposed to date somebody who's a Jehovah's Witness and they are. So you're lowering all your standards to date somebody who's a Jehovah's. A lot of you, if you left, the floodgates would open as far as the number of people you can now date. Your possibilities of being happy in a relationship quadruple. Because now you're not limited to just a couple people in this little kingdom hall. See if you can date one of them. Or waiting until you get to an assembly to look around and see if maybe you can find somebody with your binoculars, a brother or sister that you like, and then try to go walk over and talk to them and try to make all this work. Like, you don't have to deal with all that. Your friendships go up because people can now be themselves around you. Talk to you about anything that they want to talk to you about. They don't have to pretend to be happy at the hall anymore. Your relationships go up because now you can date anybody that appeals to you. So now you see somebody, chemistry is there, fireworks are going off, you can pursue that person. You don't have to ignore them anymore because they're not going to a kingdom hall. Your career can go through the roof. You can go to school now and not be sitting around worrying about the end of the world. Don't you think by now, just think, don't you think by now it would have come? Watchtower's been saying since before a lot of us were even born, it was the last days. Don't you think it would have came by now? If Watchtower was not teaching falsehoods, they wouldn't have been telling people it was the last days. They wouldn't have been saying millions now living will never die. Look up the date of when that book was printed, when they said millions now living will never die. All of them are dead now. It's like they couldn't be any more obvious that they're teaching falsehoods. They couldn't be any more obvious that they've been wrong. People just decide that they're going to stay. Yes, we got this great big book here, Millions Now Living Will Never Die, and we know all those people are dead who read that book, who got that book at that assembly when it was printed. But you feel like there's something you gain just by staying there. You feel like you are You have more value, I guess. If everybody else leaves because they know it's not the truth and you just stay there, you, you're not gaining anything. You're losing out. You're losing out by staying and hoping that one of them elders or ministerial servants or people just pat you on the head. Good job, you stay. Good job, stay. You know what I mean? Like a dog, stay. Good boy. Stay. Good boy. Stay in that coat. Good boy. Now you can leave and the floodgates are open to you. Now you can go all those churches you weren't allowed to go to before. Now you can go to any of them. Find one that speaks to you. If you're atheist and you're not into the whole religious thing or what have you, now you can be open about it and have other friends who are atheists like you or friends who are Christian and they're not judging you because you don't go to their church. You can have all those things. You can have things now. But you lose all that by just staying in that cult. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. You gain more by leaving Jehovah's Witnesses than you do by staying. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. X Wall Killed by the Light signing out.